Hi everyone. I thought I'd come on. You know how it is when one is inspired, right? For the most part, I want to say thank you. I want to start off this video by saying thank you to everyone, all of you who've been supporting this channel and have been diligently working with myself, even if it's recovering information that may have been in the past in your mind that you may not have had access to before, or for you who's new, who've come on and been inspired to actually connect with all the work that is on this channel. And for those of you who've had lots of tolerance and patience for over the time of walking with myself and everyone else to go through the changes of the channel. Change is good. Just like the change is with regards to what's been going on in the world right now. And I feel that it's important to bring up a few points or thoughts. And it's not going to be a long video, but I do want to just remind you that while all of the action is taking place on the forefront of this movie, this epic, whatever movie you want to call it, drama, chaos, action, end of the world, you name it. It's got all of that stuff in there. It must be it's a massive movie. It's made to move you into another pole or a polarized thought or thinking. And from the last video that I've made, I've mentioned about the poles and I've mentioned about the pillars as the same thing. The masculine and the feminine, the solar and the lunar on either sides. And I've brought up that which is within the center, the star pillar, and I've not seen anyone really asking me anything about that and why I said that and why I brought up the subject of the Masons either. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an explanation of why I said that. The reason I brought it up is because according to the Persians, which will be part of the lecture, but I'm going to give you a little bit of information coming in of the next lecture that will be coming in, and while I'm building it up, I want to share this part of the information or the insight with you. So I keep harping on about the tracing board, the Freemason tracing board, and it's irrespective of what the society represents or how they've been portraying things. But there is something very important. The tracing board's origins really come from Persia, when the architects were ready to build buildings or temples or whatever they wanted to build. They would draw on the floor what it was and how they perceived the plans to be. So consider that to be some sort of rudimentary or going very far back type of architecture in drawing it onto the floor. And it had certain points on the floor that they would say represent this, represents that, this represents that. So, you know, when you look at a map, on the side of the map, there are these keys that give you an idea of what you're actually looking at, what water represents, or what the dam looks like from above. And so really, you have to look at everything with an objective perspective, as if you would look at it flat on the ground, to understand what you're looking at and where you're going to go and how you're going to build that house or that building or whatever. Okay, so the interesting thing about the observation about the poles or the pillars, as I've pointed it out before, the sun, the lunar, and the star, and the checkered board. So the checkered board represents the duality of this nature, of this reality. Remember now, this information comes from the Persians, okay, and perhaps even before the Persians. I'm still going into bringing in the information for what it is relevant, for how relative and how relevant it is to what we are dealing with right now. Specifically because I had also mentioned in the beginning of the year that we will be seeing a lot of things coming up, and we will be also observing information that will be mirrored back to us so that we will see. Remember now, the 2 and the 2 and the 2. Reverse that around and you see the same thing. As above, so below. From within, so without. So my point is this. Harness the control or the power, it's very masculine words, right? Of that masculine energy within your thoughts. The way you think, whether it's logical, making plans, deciding to take charge, harness that energy. And how do you harness that energy? You harness the energy by focusing on your internal thinking, how you think in terms of making a plan happen. When you're practical, that practical energy is masculine, and the intuitive side is feminine. If you bring those two energies in an awareness of your thoughts, understand that it converges within your heart and within your third eye, within your sight, your inner sight, or your temple. It converges within you. You center those two energies within you. It's very important that you start to focus on that, because for some reason there's a strong jostle of power between the masculine and the feminine, and there's this ongoing action, this ongoing chaos, like the noise in the background right now. It's who tries to be the hero of the day. I want to tell you that that is even also a narrative of itself, a story, a movie, a projection of a particular agenda that is being played out. Also understand that the Euro program is an archetype, and that the archetype of that particular belief system is to pigeonhole yourself so that you stand out only because you require some sort of attention or focus on yourself. You can see it in the world right now. That particular behavior is becoming very, very prominent. In fact, they're also bringing up a lot of media that portrays, the lone gunman who saved the village type of ideologies. Every time, whenever there's something that takes place, there is an archetypal reference to that particular event. There is a payoff from a particular event. The payoff is the archetype of either innocence. There are 12 according to scholars and academia. In reality, there's actually as many as the planets. There's one for each planet. And these come from the Greeks. So, what is it about the belief system to try and pigeonhole oneself to become some type of archetype to play out a role? Why? Is it because you have not allowed yourself to be in control of all your faculties, of all your aspects, of your masculine and your feminine and your spirit? You have not connected with any of these. You live on either the solar pillar or the lunar pillar, but very rarely does anyone really go into the star pillar, which seems to be secretive. But I think it's only because of the way the image is portrayed on the tracing board, showing you that there's a sun and there's a moon, and for some reason there's a ladder that crosses over the star from the lunar to the sun. Why is that? Is it because the image was portrayed to show the artist's impression of where they felt they were at the time? Or is it because of how you feel when you interpret that image, that no, I think because I've done nothing in my life, I need to do this and this and that to make a point. And so my aspect, my angle, or the direction from which I'm coming from, is to make you think. I'm asking you to think. I'm stirring it a little bit inside of you so that you will want to start thinking on a cognitive level what is playing itself out. The zodiac, or the zoo dialect, zoological dial, the animals on the dial, the animal spirit on the dial, or the animal energy, or the anima, the soul reflections as expressions on the dial, the circle. Surely at some point we're meant to step up and not just stay in a one-dimensional circle. I'm asking you to think what you're allowing yourself to give into, what you are feeding. What seed are you planting? I'm bringing that up. Not literal. I'm speaking about spiritual. If you want to know more about these things, I want to also remind you that this channel, from as far as I know, and I've been scanning a lot of channels, is about the only one that really discusses about and brings up the information and the truth within, and that we are essentially connected with Great Spirit, or the Supreme Creator, or God, if you want to call it that way, which I don't want to give because it's a man-made name that defines or explains a force, or it's not even a force. It is the uncreated being, okay, which is within us. It is metaphysics, the original truth. If you want to understand what metaphysics is, there's a video on my channel. Look it up. It's called Metaphysics, and you will understand what this channel is about. So I'm leaving these thoughts with you. I want you to start thinking about these things. I'm thinking about it every day. And I want you to write down in your journal, even if you have a notepad, jot your thoughts down. Do it. Also remember that our life here in this world is not meant to be to live forever. We are not meant to live forever. If that was the case, would you age? And then in such a way, why do you age? And in such a way, do you then want to be static, stuck? Do you want to become a rock? Even rocks age. So the reality of this planet, of this plane, of this planchette. No, it's not flat world. Planchette is a surface in which someone pushes your buttons and dials you in to operate in the system. The planchette, and I'm referring to the Ouija board. Stop being a symbol on the Ouija board, because that's what they're doing. That's what that they are literally playing you like a tune. They are playing you like a movie. They want you to play out. But then I also want to ask you to step back and have an observation to everything around you. If you become emotionally distraught or upset, or perhaps triggered by certain events, to be honest with you, wherever you are situated in the world, if you're living straight on the border of all of the action that's taking place, yeah, I'd say, yeah, okay, I understand where you are. It's okay, there's no judgment. But if you're honestly living on the other end of the world and this is happening, seriously, why are you becoming triggered by that? Why are you becoming emotionally affected by it? Or are you playing along the story? Remember this thing. All that takes place in this world and in this universe operates from a spirit level, operates from within. Why is there such a thing as mind control then? Naturally speaking, because you're using your noodle, and so your internal thoughts are being used. Stop being dialed in. Choose not to be dialed in. Choose to return back into the self and connect within the form of the great creator. That is what the aim is. The aim is to remove and to dehumanize everyone, to become just pawns on the board, either on this one side or that side. If it's not, it's dehumanizing or demasculinizing or defeminizing or dehumanizing. It's just literally trying to recreate and to bring into this reality the belief that there is no great spirit, or the belief is to remove the divinity. Divinity, I don't even use that word. Divinity means to divide. The spirit, the eternal existing form of great spirit, Wakantanka, great spirit, God, supreme creator, whatever you want to call it. They're trying to shake your mind so that you let go of that connection from within your heart and your mind, and the understanding to experience the wisdom from within, which means you are a living, life-giving soul being, to become a mindless drone, to play in the hive, to become a slotted part into the hive. Repeating these things, I think you're very aware of this. It's what the channel's been going on about for years now. Why is the channel so small? It's small for only those to see. Those who need to know will find this channel. I don't spread it around. You'll find it when you're meant to find it here. And when you're here, you will learn to understand things, and you will be reminded through love. Because that is the essential reason why humans are repeating cycles on this planet, and why humans are living here for so long. The aim is to create expansion from within Great Spirit. But the body parts do not want to work together, right? So I'm leaving this with you. I wish for you a day of introspection and thinking, and always my love with you. Bye.